Hello, I'm Chris Menard. This Excel video was a request from one of my YouTube subscribers. They said, Chris, I know how to do the AverageIF function, which I'm going to demonstrate. They want to know how to figure out the MEDIANIF. So I'm going to walk you through this video. We're going to do MEDIANIF two different ways. I'm going to tell you my preferred way because method one works, but there's a little catch to it. And we'll do some other cool Excel functions while we're running through here. Let's go ahead and dive in. So I got a list of customers, employees, I don't care what you call those. What I want to know is what is the purchases to date, which is column G, if someone found us with LinkedIn. I'm using that as an example. Over in cell K3, here we go. AverageIF first. What's the average? There is an AverageIF function in Excel, equals AverageIF, tab. Three arguments. The first one, what range do you want? Second is what criteria, which is going to be LinkedIn. The third argument is what do you want me to average, which is going to be G2 to G30. So here you go, I'm going to highlight E2 to E30. Let me put the mouse out of the way so you can see this, comma. What criteria are you looking for? I'm looking for LinkedIn. By the way, I could reference a cell here if I wanted to. Comma, I'm on argument number 3. What do you want to sum up? I'm going to keep typing. G2 to G30. Really important that the E2 to E30 matches G2 to G30. I've seen people have E2 to E30 and then G3 to G31 or G2 to G34. Make sure those have an exact match with the number of rows, 2 through 30. We're done. The AverageIF for LinkedIn is 1989 point that. I'm just going to lose the decimals and keep this simple. Same here. Well, that was AverageIF, and just to keep up with this, let's do a little FormulaText over here. That is what I just did. Perfect. Well, there is no MEDIANIF function in Excel. I wish there was. It'd make my life easier. But I can just basically say, show me the median. Now I'm going to put the if function inside. The if function has 3 arguments. Logical test, value of true, value of false. Well, I'm trying to figure out if E2 through E30 equal what source? LinkedIn. And then if it's true, what do you want to do up? What do you want to figure out? Really simple. It is the purchases date. And again, it is a perfect match with the 2 through 30. Right there, I got 1500. There's my formula that I used. I want to test both of these answers before I show you my method for doing MEDIANIF, even though this one did work. To keep this easy and to test this, I'm going to go and do a right click on the source and do a sort A to Z. So now they're all together. All I care about is the LinkedIn. If I highlight these, down at the very bottom in the status bar, notice the average is 1990 for those 9 numbers that are selected. That is the count. Copy. You don't have to do this step. I'm going to paste right there. There are those numbers that I just had. And again, I'm just going to lose the decimal. So the median, we can't test from the formula bar, so I'm going to highlight the 9 numbers, paste them, and sort them one more time. I think it thinks I got a header row in here. I don't. There we go. So we do have 9 numbers, and there's the average again, no big deal. 1990. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th number is the median. There are 4 numbers to the below it, and there are 4 numbers above that number. Because it's an odd number, if you say, Chris, what function can you use to count the numbers? Use equals count. Equals count will only count numbers. It will not count text. There's that function there just to prove it. I type in Chris and it still says, now it says 8 because there's only 8 numbers. Let me do an undo. There we go. So the median found the middle number, which was the 5th number. Here's the issue though, using this method. I'm going back here just for a second. I kept saying make sure that these match, the E2 to E30, G2 to G30, and they do. The issue using this method, because it gave us the right number, I'm going to go ahead and just sort these real quick. Do a sort data. I'm going to go data sort. I'm going to sort by the source. I do have header rows now. And then I'm going to sort also by the purchases to date. That works. So now if you look at this LinkedIn, here we go. If I delete this 1500, it says my median is 779. That is incorrect. And I'll tell you why. Here are the same numbers over here. Delete it. So now that I've got an even number of numbers with the median, it will find the 2 middle numbers and average those. Well, the 2 middle numbers are the 779 and 2530, and that averages to 1655. I'm going to left click the 1655, and I'm going to just right click and I'm going to do a Control V and paste it. Didn't know if you know you can do that. You can copy something from the status bar and paste it on your screen. That's the number I'm expecting. I'm not expecting 779. So the issue with what I just did is this median F is saying, okay, I've got LinkedIn more times than I've got numbers, so it's throwing it off. So as long as you're not deleting numbers or completely deleting a number and you have a number in there, it'll work. Just remember 1655. So here's my little trick here. I'm going to create a pivot table. A pivot table will not by default give you the median. We can get the average for LinkedIn, we can get the average for Google Ads, but we can't get the median. So here we go. I'm going to make this a table first, Control T. Now it's a table. Insert, remember the number 1655 by the way. Pivot table. I'm going to put the 1500 back first. Now we're good. Insert pivot table. It picks up my table. Make sure you pick down at the bottom here, add this data to the data model. Hit OK. Source. This is going to be real simple. Purchases to date. Let me zoom up a little bit so you can see this. I didn't really care about the sum, but what am I looking for? AverageIF. So if I change this to average, just a quick format on the numbers or this will drive me crazy. There's my 1990 for LinkedIn. Back over here, 1990. The median is 1500. I just said this. I don't have a median over here. Well, you can figure out the median by coming over here to the far right where it says Table 1. Right click and do what's called an Add Measure. What are you going to name this field? I'm just going to call it median. What function do you want to use? The median function. Tab. When I hit the tab key, there are all my fields. I'm looking for purchases to date. Close, and how do you want this to look? I want it to be a number, no decimals, but I do want a comma. Let's see if this works. Nothing happens over here in column A, B, or C, but I now have a field called median. And there I go. And there's my 1500. Let's go test it. Same 1500 I have here, but remember this issue. I'm pressing the delete key and get rid of that 1500 in my data. So the answer should be 1655. Go over here, right click and just do a quick refresh. That's all I need to do. 1655, and that is correct. Plus, I got the median for all of the sources and I had 4 different sources. Over here, this would take a little bit of work. I just did LinkedIn. Would have taken a little bit of work. So again, more reason to use pivot tables because you know this answer is going to be correct. A little long on that video, but trust me, it was well worth it. Feel free to subscribe, ring the bell. If you have any comments or questions about this, please let me know. This file will be on my website. I'm probably going to blog about it this weekend. Thank you.